yeah, so I just wanted to kind of start by asking how are things going? How's playing been lately? Um, it's always a relief for me when I've calibrated my control. I know it's not exactly the same as setting one up from scratch, but I always feel better when mine's calibrated, right? Yeah, are you finding that you're playing better lately? As a result of like kind of fixing it up, or yeah, how are things going basically?
So I've noticed a few things. I think I'm still tinkering a little bit with one of my controllers that I'm probably going to be using at least for like a decent amount of time. Uh, I just need to get the stick like feeling a little bit better. It's like I've been like playing like a little balancing game between like having like really good a really good dash dance and then like it feeling a bit too unresponsive. So uh
Hmm.
but I would say like I'm close. So uh yeah, almost. The problem with the controller I was using before is one of the triggers was getting jammed and
Oof.
I yeah, I realized that like sometimes you know how we like talked about how I was shielding a lot after aerials and
Mm-hmm.
how like part of that is just like when I'm tense, I just hold down on the trigger. I also realized that like I wouldn't be tense sometimes, and I'd be like, "Huh, why is this happening?" And then I had a moment where I like had my hands off the controller and it was shielding. And I was like, "Okay, now I see what the issue
Oh,
is."
yeah, that'll happen. So I'm glad you. Honestly, I'm really glad that you spotted that because yeah, otherwise you can kind of chase your own tail on those. Um, yeah, something similar has happened. Similar things have happened to me before, and I guess I just kind of like assumed that your controller was not having that kind of problem. But
Well,
yeah,
you're still right. I would say like I did still have that problem even without the jamming. It's just that like I was addressing it, and then I was like, "Huh, I thought I was making progress here," and then I realized, okay, there's also an additional factor. So
gotcha. No, that's fair because yeah, like once we simplify it, it's like okay, so it's not technique. So if it's not technique, then what can it be? And then yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I guess in that case, no, in that with that in mind, how do you foresee this time being productive? Because I've been having a lot of success with people kind of walking them through conceptual ideas that they kind of work on independently later. Alternatively, if you feel like you're up for playing and we try to implement there, we can do that too. We can do a blend. Is there an area of your game that you would like to work on today? Um,
yeah, I actually had some things in mind, and then I guess maybe you could tell me if you think that this sounds like valuable.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
there's a few, I guess, like conceptual things that I had in mind a little bit. I've definitely felt like I've been improving like steadily, which has felt nice. And um, I'm playing like ranked on the free days. I need to actually just sign up for premium again. I canceled my subscription when I wasn't playing, and now I'm playing again, so I might as well just pay.
It's five
Um,
dollars. Like,
yeah. So I've been mainly like I think when we first started coaching, I was like silver one maybe.
mm-hmm,
And the people I'm playing are like generally gold one, gold two now. So
mm-hmm.
I'm assuming whenever I place, it'll probably be like high silver, low gold, something like that.
Sure.
Um, so it does feel like there's improvement at least in that regard. I am playing a ton of Falcos, both at locals and on online,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I I definitely feel like I have a better understanding for some aspects of the matchup than before. But one thing that keeps stumping me is I I have well, it's not really one thing. I have a few things.
Yeah, there's a few
There's
things that
definitely
you
like
sent me.
there's definitely like some execution issues where um I'll be too slow to react to like a tech chase, or I will um I'll go for the drill shine, and then my shine is like 1 or 2 frames late, and that's enough for the Falco to get a shine off or something like that. Um, so those are things that I think I should just grind to fix more or less. Like I feel like practicing punish will work those out at some point.
Mm,
I
there's
I don't
not.
know. Maybe maybe you disagree.
Well, let me ask you. So, are you always grinding punish and having better reactions? Obviously, that's ideal. Like that's like the easiest way to get better at it. But I would say at higher levels, we also see kind of like a change in structure as people understand what their combo trees can do.
Mhm.
There's one sequence in particular that I broke down with somebody the other day. Um, it's by guess who? Cody Schwab. But it's from his collision set with Moki, and it's a combo he does, and I think that there's a lot of value in just taking a quick look at it, because I find that a lot of times when we're like looking at punish trees, we're looking at kind of doing the most difficult ones possible. But there are ways, even at high level, of structuring your punish tree in a way where you're limiting the interaction from the opponent in some way. And I think that there's value in knowing those routes because they give us a backup plan for when we're not playing 100% to our like peak efficiency. And the reality is that like we're not always going to be playing 100% efficiency or even 90% efficiency. So we're going to have days when we're like 60, we're like 70, and having a sense of like what the different route, like what, heck, there's a case to be made that some of the things he's going for here are just better in on hit than the things that he would get from the reaction style combos as well.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't disagree with you. I think that grinding punish makes sense, but I also think that maybe expanding our repertoire also makes sense.
That I can totally agree with. I think I mean a few points. I guess I feel like I'll only grind like very specific sequences in when I'm doing punish, and I feel like as I add more like tools to my kit, I start trying to open it up more. Like as I get more consistent with short up airs, I try and use them more when I'm practicing punish. But I feel like the way I've been I don't know, I'm saying this in like very gamer terms, but like unlocking parts of my kit, I guess. I don't know if there's like a better way of going about that, or like a better way of, I don't know, like you said, maybe it's just analyzing punish from like better players that I need to do.
Well, you know what? I think that why don't I show you, why don't we make a note to look at this sequence, and like you still tell me what your other thoughts are like in terms of what you want to cover. But I think that yeah, breaking down what he's doing in a sequence or two might be really helpful, because it'll give us some insights into different ways that we can maybe use some of these tools, and that can be valuable. That's how I'm looking at it.
That makes sense. Another thing. Oh, this is kind of like more of a fleeting thought, but you know how you were saying like, you know, some days we aren't playing at 100% efficiency. It took like a long time, but finally like your tennis analogies like landed on me, where I was thinking like, okay, when I play tennis, like I wouldn't play as well as I would play in practice in matches, and in like friendlies I'd be more willing to go for things, but then in matches I'd be like very conservative with my shot selection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like totally starting to click like why I don't play like peak levels, and I feel like that's kind of helped me come to terms with like with working with what I have in any moment in time. So like if I'm playing like a ranked game, there's a bit more pressure than playing like a friendly, and that means kind of like, okay, I'm not going to have my whole kit available basically, so let's do what I can with like, or do what I can with like the stuff that I'm like comfortable implementing, and then like slowly work on expanding that kit. So yeah, I feel like that's starting to click a bit more, and it's made me feel a bit better about the game in a way.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, I wouldn't say it's that you don't have your full kit available. It's just that how much stock we place in the risk reward evaluation of a decision is significantly higher when there's something on the line, because we're just loss averse. It's not like it's not that we can't access those things. It's just there's more of a barrier to like overcoming. Like I was playing,
it's like my brain is stopping me from actually going for something that I probably could do, but I'm a bit scared of.
Or that it just doesn't think that like the benefit of going for it is high enough for one reason or the other. Like I was playing against Iggy, like Iggy Neves, the up and coming Fox. Like I played her in some friendlies, and it's Ness Fox. Like she used to main Ness, and she's fairly convinced that that's like a 90-10. And I think I took a game or two, and it was just like, and I could tell, but I could tell, even though she said like lots of wonderful things afterwards, I could tell that she wasn't playing like all out. And I imagine that those games would be significantly hard. She probably won like 8-2 or something, but I can tell that those are also the types of games that where they'd be significantly harder in a tournament in setting where she would be like buckling down and not taking as many risks. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where the dynamic of the risk reward is a little bit different when there's nothing on the line. That doesn't mean that we don't have access to those tools, but it might mean that our evaluation of whether those things are worth going for, rightly or wrongly, has changed a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally makes sense, and I think that is probably a better way of phrasing it.
I mean, it's just like, it just helps us make it, it helps us understand that these things aren't off the table. It's just that we need to like do more work to make them on the table.
Yeah. And then when you have like a lead, you feel more comfortable like actually going for the things that you find risky and stuff. So I can definitely tell there's like a risk reward balance going on in my brain, and I've just kind of come to terms with it in a way.
Yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, that sounds phenomenal. So what areas of the Falco matchup? Because I know that that's come up. So punishment, I know that you've mentioned before.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, you'll try to juggle them too much, and then instead of going for edge guards, which totally makes sense. Yeah,
I think another thing... Oh, sorry.
There's nothing more annoying than hitting Falco to like 90 damage and then being unable to kill him. The one thing I would say though is, you said that they come down with a dare and you miss space or reset to neutral. My question is, if you're doing 90 damage to them anyway, why not just look for vertical kill? Like, why not look for like up smash anti-air on the landing, or like...
Yeah, that's actually something I've been trying to do more, I guess, is like, if I know that they're just going to come down for a dare, I'll just dash dance and try and space an up smash. So that is something that I'm like getting better at, but I don't think I'm getting better at the horizontal kills. And I feel like those seem like they should be really high value against Falco when his recovery is just so short. And I can like potentially go for Armada shines and stuff like that. So
they are. But there's kind of like, those are also much more difficult combos because of like the relationship with knockback stacking, because those are the types of combos where it's like, whether or not you're using knockback stacking on a launcher, or whether you're gonna wait for them to like start, like whether you're gonna wait for the knockback stacking to basically wear off, that's a decision point in and of itself. The degree to which...
This is a mechanic I don't know anything about, to be honest.
Okay, good. No, this is good, because, like, we can teach you.
Yeah.
So, cool. So knockback stacking is also something worth looking at. It's pretty intuitive. You're probably using it effectively without, like, in some capacity, without even realizing that you're doing it. But it is the type of thing that where, like, if you don't know about certain ticks of it, I guess... it can bite you, so that's good that we're aware of that. I'm trying to think here. You also mentioned lasers. So are you trying to are you trying to attack him after like getting hit by a laser, or?
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to play around with the distance in terms of like, where can I, what is the space I want to be in where he feels like unsafe to laser, and if I can't get into that space effectively, like I'm just getting locked down, I'll try and retreat to a platform and then go back for seconds, basically. One thing I've definitely had like a really hard time with is the style where they like laser under platforms. I feel like, okay, I either need to get in during a space where they don't lock me down with lasers, or sometimes I'll like go to the platform that they're under, and then it becomes like a 50-50. I'm not sure if that's the exact ratio, but like it feels like it's a 50-50 whether they punish me for getting on top of the platform, or if I manage to catch them with like a shield drop, or I don't know, they come up and try and hit me with a bad aerial and I can like shine out a shield or something like that.
So you go onto the side platform.
Yeah, sometimes I do that, or sometimes I just this was actually two different things that I kind of fumble together. But what I meant was like sometimes I go onto the opposite side platform just to retreat, or just to reset to neutral and then try again. And then sometimes I go onto the side platform above them and try and find an opening. But I feel like that feels really inconsistent to me because I feel like I get reversaled for it a decent amount.
Okay. So when you get reversaled for going onto the side platform above them, what are they usually reversaling you with?
I feel like they just hit me with like they go up with a shine, or I stand there and then they hit me with an aerial. Maybe it's safe, maybe it's not, but I don't have like I don't get the execution like reaction maybe where I can get a shine out of shield or something, and then I get locked down by shield pressure, and then I feel like I have to roll. I don't have like the exact scenarios in my head, but I do know that like I feel like this is something that does happen fairly frequently. And maybe I did find some like examples of or some games where like I ended up getting locked down by lasers on under a side plat. So
Okay. So, in that case, have you no, is it possible that we could just be more mobile on like so here's my question. If you're when you're on the side platform, are you just standing still there or like when you go on the side platform above them, are you just standing still there or like how do you board the platform and how do you board the platform to start? And then the other question I'd have is once you're there, are you standing still usually or are you moving?
so this is actually something I don't know if I've put enough thought into. I think I try and I think I generally just full hop from center stage, or um, I don't think I usually go to top plat and then go down to side plat. So I think it's probably like me full hopping from center stage, hopefully wave landing onto it, and then I know like what I want to do and what I do sometimes do is dash dance on there, but then I do know like I can tell that there's situations where I probably did act like immobily and fish for shield drops or something like that. And so when I say that out loud, it sounds like that's the wrong thing to do.
I would actually consider starting I would try to incorporate the top platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really hard for Falco to approach into Fox, like at the 45-degree angle, um, especially if Fox has his back to you, has his back to him, right? So for Falco to like deny that position, usually his solution is to turn his back to Fox and then start back airing back.
Mhm.
But you have like he has to travel all the way up to the top platform in order to get you. Whereas you can kind of like have the option to like chill and wait a bit. Because you're on ground basically. Like as somebody on the platform, you're able to like dash dance in that space. He can't exactly dash jump towards you with his back turned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have a mobility advantage in that spot. So I would try incorporating the top platform a little bit more as a way to transition onto the side platform. Um,
Yeah.
and if
I'm like realizing I don't know if I ever do that, and it feels like it does feel like it would be good. I don't know.
Oh, like okay, so let's look at let's start with the combo side of things and like how we can play around reversals a bit more effectively because I know that getting reversaled and dying is like the worst feeling ever. And then from there we can maybe take a look at some of your games or yeah, unleash you upon unranked, whatever feels productive, and we can take it from there. But yeah, I think that you'll find some of this kind of interesting. So let's begin here so we get some things done. So, can you see what I've got?
Yes.
So, these are both heroes, apparently. I agree with one of them. Uh, no spoilers. But, so, the reason I love this combo is because look at how little he is allowing Moki to, like, look at how little he's allowing Moki to wake up shine him.
Yeah. Yeah, he like dash dance out of the range, and if yeah, he feels very elusive.
Yeah, like so let's start from the beginning. So where does this begin? So we get like something into grab, I think. Drill grab. Okay.
Mhm.
So not letting him shine here, assuming that he hits the frame tightness. Doesn't let him go on to the side platform with the back throw.
Yeah.
Like baits out the get up attack on the no on this option. goes for up air, which if the up air connects here, he's fine. Because he misses it, he catches the fall off and here. Goes for up air here again, and misses it a little bit. I think he's off by like a frame or two. But like, because he goes for that kind of follow-up, like he's going for coverage strategies. And the thing about coverage strategies is that if Moki tech rolls in either of these situations, like he's still able to like respond and continue to like press advantage on the things that Moki does after the combo.
Yeah.
So he's still getting a ton of mileage out of this opening without putting himself at risk of like the obvious reversals. I'd also argue if either of those up airs hit, he probably just does 100 damage anyway. So like, or like 70 damage anyhow. So it's not like either of them are like, what's better than that, right? I don't think that any of the more traditional reaction style combos actually give him more than what he's getting out of like out of these more like out of these safer options. And I think that's like a real triumph of the setup.
Okay, that makes sense.
So like what I'm saying is like when people say that they're getting reversaled by Falco, I feel like a lot of the time they're going for the same like reaction grabs or reaction up smashes that they almost always do. But what I'm saying is that like a lot of times those aren't even better than the coverage strategies.
Yes. Okay. Well, at least the first portion of that is definitely something that that I'm guilty of. I guess like I want to figure out what like what the best coverage options would be for myself then.
Short up air is usually a really good up air is usually a really good starting point. For that one, you want to do it either one of two ways. You either do the up air so that the up air hitbox is hitting in the first couple of frames of the missed tech, so that if they tech stand, you can shine them, and then just like they're locked out of the tech window, right?
Yeah.
And then if they roll to either side, you can just run and hit them anyway.
You just run. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So basically you have an option for every scenario. I really need to improve my short up airs.
They're really good. The other thing that makes sense is to brain cooperate, please. You can time the second hit of up air so that it hits in the opening vulnerability frames of the missed tech, the opening vulnerability frames of the tech in place. That's the other way that's common for people to do it. And then if you hit, that should hit the missed tech, and it should hit the tech in place. And if they roll to either side, you usually can't directly follow up on them unless it's like a platform or something. Yeah. But if they are on a platform, you can usually just grab. And if they're not, then you can usually get the aerial online as they're coming out of it, or dash dance to bait.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually there's a moment in the Fountain of Dreams, in the Pokemon Stadium game with something like that going on. I think it's the second one. I remember Moki had a really cool combo. Oh my god, that smashed the eye.
Yeah.
What the heck? Yeah, so it's one of these. I think it might be... So this would also kind of count under the purview of like a coverage strategy, because he goes for the down tilt to like outspace the shine on Wake Up. Okay, so I think it might have been versus Mango, or maybe it's coming up. But you can see that these two are playing like really heavily around the other's ability to reversal them.
Yeah.
Which I think makes a lot of sense at this level, and it's something that we like often don't really give a lot of credit. Like we kind of treat it as if this is bad play for some reason. At lower levels, like, oh, you should just be refining like the B&Vs, like just be refining the things that always work. But it's like, but the things that always work don't always work, even at high level. Like,
it reminds me kind of like of, I mean, in other games, like even in Overwatch when I was coaching, it's like one of the like what people like respect is like how many kills players will get, but like what kind of separates people is actually their ability to not die and to just like constantly have uptime. I feel like that's kind of like a similar concept here, maybe.
Yeah, like I would say, like look at how little they're going for in terms of gear. Like all of these things work. Like that combo works, but it's
Yeah.
not traditional. It's not what you'd expect here. And I'd argue that there's a lot of important benefits, like the fact, like, so this up tilt into, I would normally expect dash attack, grab, something like that here. But Moki goes for this wave shine, and I actually really like this because I think that forward tilt catches a more immediate panic jump, which is like a really good thing to like check for. He's also able to like maintain stage advantage by doing this, whereas on the tech chase, there's a good chance with a smash DI input or two, he can probably like trajectory slide off on that. So I think that like these kinds of like little like, I think that there's a lot more customizability in these combo trees than people give them credit for. I think that being afraid to like deviate from the B and Bs is honestly like a common way that people get stuck in this game. So I guess for your coverage strategies, I would say that like be willing to be creative. Some good starting places though I would say would be shining the tech in place into like wave shine. Like if somebody techs in place and you react to it with shine, knowing that they can't that they can't tech the shine knockdown and going for like the wave shine down tilt or wave shine up smash. I would say that's like usually a good starting point for like improving a combo tree. I'd also say that covering options with the short up air is usually a good spot for improving the combo tree. Covering options even with just aerials in general, like it doesn't have to be up air. You could also nair if they're at the knockdown percent for it. Yeah, anything like that is usually probably going to give you pretty good ROI.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I really want to work like I think I've said this a few times, but I definitely really want to work like short up. It just seems, or short up airs into my gameplay. It just seems like it unlocks so many different things, and it's so good for coverage. And yeah, I don't know.
It is so good for coverage. So the other thing that we've talked about is back airs, and specifically how to deal with a Falco under platform. Now this is not exactly a Falco, but I would say that like there's a lot that we can learn about how to back air from this last stock that is played between these two here. So let's see here. Is it game 2 or yeah? So we want the ending of game 2. Yeah. So let's look at this. It's either this one or yeah. It's not on Pokemon. It's not this game. Cause like, no, it's not Collision. It's Battle of BC that I want. It's BOBC. That's why this looks weird. Battle of BC. There we go. So I want you to look at this deficit. So Josh Man is in a problem. Cody basically does not get hit from this position. He never gives Josh Man the opportunity to reversal, and I think there's a lot we can learn about why and how he uses back air effectively here. Do you see what I mean? Like, he's just never... The way that he's, like, kind of, like, using the platform, pretending he's using the platform, like, all of that is gold. And I think there's a lot that we can apply to, like, how we would fight Falco here. Like, especially with, like, how he's using it in this position on the left here. You see what I mean?
Yeah, he's like not hittable.
Yeah. The other cool thing is that the other cool thing about using back air in this style is that how counter attackable do you think Falco would be able to, like, how effectively do you think Falco would be able to counter attack him for doing this style of pressure?
I don't know what Falco can really do unless he. Yeah, there doesn't really seem like a good option for Falco to counterattack unless you like clip him with a laser, I guess, and then go in if they're like too close, maybe. I can't really think of anything else.
You have to back up, kind of, don't you?
Yeah.
Right? So, but if they know that they're starting their position under this platform, how much space do they have to back up?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is also how you materialize up tilts in this matchup. Because, like, this is kind of the style of position that Leffen was really good about playing. And you can see how he uses, like, if we take a look at, like, how he initiates this, he kind of uses the whole platform effectively. Like, take a look at how he begins this, right? Like, he's never giving an opportunity for Joshman to do anything. And granted, there'd be lasers flying at you, but you can see how, like, the empty full hops and things give him the flexibility to maneuver off the top platform, to go to side platform, to just, like, jump in between them. Like, he has a lot of different ways of dealing with, like, individual lasers. So I think that this is probably a very good starting point for, like, understanding some of this, like, matchup in general, because this really is where, like, this really is where the magic happens, in my opinion. That kind of stance. We can even see Joshman doing similar things here. Like, I think that this spaced style of pressure is really important versus Falco for offense in general, because it's doing like, I know that we're watching in the context versus Fox. This just happens to be, like, the best example of it that I can think of off the top of my head. But basically, like, this is doing 3 things really effectively. First of all, we're not playing rock, paper, scissors with Falco's out of shield options. We're just not, because we're always landing outside of the shine out of shield zone, the down air out of shield zone, the up smash out of shield zone, and the shield grab zone. So because of that, Falco's fastest out of shield options are things that involve him either firing a laser, which is risky, wave dashing out of shield, which is slow, or jumping out of shield and then being able to come down with his aerial, which is really just the laser. Which is really just the laser, or I guess you could argue full hop too. But, like, in any case, he has to, like, the amount of time that we have isn't just, like, you know how people say that, like, -6 is, like, the minimum for, like, shield safety? Well, so if we're not shield grabbable, it's really expanded to whatever, like, the next fastest option out of shield that hits us is. And if we've made that wave dash out of shield plus something, like, even if it's shine, then that means, like, all of a sudden -10 is safe. -9 is safe. Like, the amount of things that are safe are significantly expanded. This is also part of why up tilts work, because up tilt is -11, but if we space it so that they can't grab it or punish it directly out of shield, it being -11 isn't really that big a deal, and we got to fish for our most powerful launcher on the ground. Like,
okay, that is my least favorite thing, is when I get stuck in shield pressure against an up tilt and I'm like, okay, I can punish this, and I can't.
Well, now you know why. Like, at least some of the time, like, some of them probably are punishable, but, like, some of them legitimately are not, because -11, if they're outside of your wave dash out of shield, like, if you wave dash out of shield shine into them and they shine on the first possible frame, they're gonna win that. Like, so this kind of gives us, like, I think that this gives us some structure for, like, the back air, like, for how we can use our back airs in neutral, and use, like, the top platform more effectively too, because, like, you can see how the goals here, so much of it is structured out of just not playing with that immediate hit range that the Fox that the Space Animal has on Wake Up, or out of shield, because why would we play with that? Like, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I think this is making me kind of realize that I think that I just put myself in ranges where I can be punished when I just don't have to play that, like, make that gamble, I guess.
Yeah. Like, look at how he backs off after drilling him. Like, he gets this, and he knows that, like, there's nothing that Cody can do. Like, if Cody had moved forward out of shield here, Joshman gets him.
Yeah.
Because he's just waiting for it. So that Cody has to, like, back up out of shield, and Joshman's patient. Like, I think he's a little too patient for my liking here, but you can still see the strategy. Like, he's basically saying, if you advance, I'm gonna get you. Like, he messes up his movement here, but, like, that was an entirely, like, that was an unforced error. Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, the fact that Cody doesn't have an obvious way of, like, getting him speaks a lot to the power of this kind of spacing. Because Cody, if there's an obvious way to get you, Cody knows it. Like, Cody 100% knows that stuff. Like, there isn't... Yeah. I also really like how these weak hits probably look weird, but I actually really like them, and I'll tell you why. He's keeping Cody close to him rather than just sending him off stage where he has like all of his angles to work with.
Yeah.
Like, instead he has to do this recovery here, and like Joshman, now that he's at like 90, he knows that he has to just like deal with it. But like, that's another like 35 damage that he got that he wouldn't have gotten had he just sent him off and had to play that mix up, you know?
That makes sense, yeah.
So he's just like, I feel like that's another component about like denying reversal that doesn't get talked about very often. Just the idea of keeping the opponent close to you so that you're able to continue like just hitting, like keeping them close to you even at like those awkward like high middle percents, because Fox has the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weak hits and the single hit up air, great, yeah.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, one thing I do want to point out, because I think that this is like a good example of knockback stacking. So, when I think it's actually the last stock that he had the combo. Yeah. So I want you to pay attention to, like, we're going to learn a bit about knockback stacking here. So, knockback stacking is not that complicated. So, have you ever up tilted a Fox, like, up tilted into back air on like a Marth and they flew up really, really high? Like higher than you'd think they'd go.
It's not coming to mind right now, but that is something that ends up happening against Marth a lot, so like it probably is a thing that that I've just or that I haven't like picked up on.
Cool. So, the reason why Joshman is timing his back air, you notice that Joshman is waiting a good amount of time after he's up-thrown Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cody is now falling down. Why do you think he's doing that with what we know about knockback stacking? With our basic understanding of what it is. It's basically like, if the opponent is still suffering knockback from the first move, when we hit them with the next one, they are going, like, the properties kind of like combine a bit. But he's waiting till knockback has elapsed off of his up throw before he back airs. Why do you think the significance of that is?
Huh.
If you're not sure, I have a handy diagram.
I'm not sure yet.
That's okay. So, this is an up throw, but this is a stomp back air that I took, an image of the trajectory of a stomp back air that I took. And this is another stomp back air that I took. They are at the same percent, on the same Marth, doing the same DI, there's no DI, but you'll notice one angle is different than the other, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like longer.
Yeah. What do you think the difference... So when do you think I hit them after I stomped them? Both of these were true combos.
Oh, so when you say they... Okay. So then in the first one, is it where you hit them during the knockback, and then the second one you hit them after the knockback ended?
Other way around. So this one...
other way around.
This one I hit him after he had reached the apex of the stomp, and when he had begun falling again. So you'll notice it is a sharper angle that he's being sent off by. But this one, there's a little bit of lift on it, right? So this one happened while he was still rising during the stomp. That's why he goes higher at the end.
Oh, so then I guess the reason Joshman would wait is because he wants Cody to go at like or he wants Cody to not have as much airtime when he sends him off?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I don't think I had any like indication of this concept, to be honest. Like I don't think I even intuited any part of this.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, so like when you're comboing someone in this game, part of using knockback stacking is, so when you're like comboing a fast faller and you like hit them with up air, if you like nair them again while they're still going up from it, they will have a little bit more lift on them when you're hitting them to the side. So it'll be more like you'll hit them more up inside, basically. This is useful because this is part of how you set up how you can kind of like volley to set up horizontal combos. Because that extra vertical knockback can make it easier to pop people up into like forward smashes or down smashes or like back airs or shines or things like that. The only catch is you just want to make sure that they're not rising anymore when you hit them with the finisher. You want them to be following. So then you get the better angle.
I had literally no idea of this. Like, I feel like that sounds like a huge concept that I should have known about.
Do you want to test? Do you want to play around with it? Do you want to go into Uncle Punch and play around with it then?
Yeah, I'd be down.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you share your screen, but yeah, like that's basically why he does this combo this way. And you can also, the one thing I would say that trips people up, knockback stacking can never increase knockback in the sense that like if you have two knockbacks that are stacking together in the same direction, it'll always take the maxim, which is part of why when you have like the pop-up style combo and they're still going up and then you hit them with a sideways hitting move, it'll still like a move that hits up inside, they'll get hit up further because you're just taking the knockback, like you're just adding the knockback basically, or taking the higher knockback from the previous move, and it's using that instead of the knockback, I guess, from the current move. But it can't surpass the it can't break the knockback of either move. Like it can't exceed it, I guess. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does.
Cool. So, let's play around with this because this is a cool concept. So let me know when you're. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I will share my screen real quick. I guess this also means that like. Well, you kind of mentioned it. For any finisher, I want to try and make sure that the knockback ends before I send them off.
Well, I mean, if it's a vertical move, it doesn't really matter a lot of the time. But,
Sorry, yeah, for the horizontal ones, yeah.
Yeah, for horizontal ones. So yeah, let's go into Training Lab, because I think that's probably the easiest way to, like, do this in a controlled fashion. Man, we're covering big concepts lately. This is cool, though.
I feel like... Yeah, these are things that I would have never learned about in any way until like just hearing them in passing from you, and then I go, okay, that's not something I've heard about before.
That's okay. So, you know what? For our lovely demonstration person, let's actually use Peach. Yeah, I have a good feeling about her. Let's go to FD.
All right.
So we're gonna do something. We're gonna turn her DI off just so we can kind of like play with a clean environment. So. Smash DI frequency, we're going to turn trajectory DI to none, and we're going to do smash DI frequency also to none. And then let's put her percent to 70. So what I want you to do here is, I want you to, and DI trajectory on. So, back. Into the general options. Yeah, general. DI display.
Got you.
DI display on. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna like set a save state with us net. We're gonna bring her over and create a save state. So yep, perfect. And then right on the D-pad to create the save state. Excellent. Oops. So what I want you to do is I want you to like full hop low. I want you to just up smash her and look at the trajectory that you get. Cool. So then what I want to do is. Let's bring her back. I want you to low nair her, like full hop, fast fall, low nair, and then up smash her. And then look at the trajectory that you get from that.
Whoops.
Like you might have to running up smash her.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay, so that kind of went at the same angle. That's okay. So let's try doing it with a weak nair. Like weak nair immediate, like run on up smasher.
Can I actually? This might be a dumb question. For weak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just realizing I don't know exactly like. Is weak hitting just about timing, or is it about
Yeah, it's just it's just when in the move. So you throw out the move early and you hit with like a later part of it.
Got you. Oh.
Yeah, so like do it while you're rising. Like full hop, and then do it while you're going up. Yeah, and then just like yeah.
Whoops.
No, it's okay. You got this. Full hop, nair up, and then drift forward, fast fall.
Yeah. Oh man, my dashing out of.
It's because you're probably. I think you're just missing the fast fall, and the L cancel.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, holy cow! You know what happened is I have the L cancel indicator. I just totally forgot that I need to L cancel basically because I didn't turn it on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Try to do them even more tightly together. I think she's getting out of. I think she's barely able to. She's getting out of stun barely.
Oh, was she out of stun there?
Up smash or norm? Just up smash her here. I think that you can see there's a slight difference. Like she's a little more to the side when you did the last one. Like when you did the weak nair up smash. Remember, gotta fast all at the peak of your jump, and then...
Oh, yeah.
And then you're L canceling during hit lag. Like, once you've got the fast fall going.
Is that slightly more vertical?
It's hard to tell. There are the easier examples I think are with like stomp characters in general. I was hoping we could see like that we could see it in action here. You could also maybe get it with like yeah, I feel like it might be easier with fast fallers just because of like yeah, it might be easier to see with fast fallers the difference, but yeah, I would recommend playing around with this for sure. Playing around with these styles of combos for sure. Use Falco. Falco's the one that we're practicing for. That said, there's a few rules about knockback stacking that are just kind of like useful. There's a few rules that are important to know about this in general. So one, the moves have to be separated by 10 frames. So you can't so the cool thing about that is multi-hit moves actually reset it. So because like if you hit someone with like say Fox's up air like with both hits, it'll actually reset the knockback stacking because the first hit will connect and then within 10 frames the second hit also connects. So because of that, it takes the effect off of it, which is actually very, very, very powerful sometimes. The other cool thing about it is that I'm trying to think here. After the second hit, the opponent has to be airborne. So if you're hitting them into the ground, or if they wind up on the ground after the second hit connects, then knockback stacking does not occur. So that would be that would be the other rule. So like sometimes people will jab someone, and they'll be expecting them to like fly off stage really far, because they'll be doing that like jab thing during OMS attacks. Like, you know how people will like will like back air people to like 130 and then like jab them, so they fly off the stage.
Yeah.
They'll do that, but they'll do it slightly too early, so the opponent's still able to slide off because of their DI input, and then they don't go anywhere, and then they get confused as to how that happened. Well, how that happened is because of knockback stacking, because they like slide off caused them to touch the edge of a surface, right? So then because it finished with them on the ground, the knockback from the like wasn't stacked and carried forward. It's just the jab that they're incurring.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's so many crazy scenarios where I have no idea why people like didn't take the knockback that I expected them to, both in like games I'm watching and in games I'm playing, and I feel like this is like unlocking a huge
A huge
answer as to
a
why.
huge percentage of them. Yeah, honestly, absolutely. So I would recommend playing around with the concepts we talked about. One thing that's actually kind of useful for the shield thing, for up tilting shields, by the way, put his shield on.
Behavior shield.
Shield. Yeah. So.
And then I have to do.
Yeah, and then yeah, if you want to turn his out of shield options off for a bit, that's totally fine. So counteraction shield, just set it to none.
Shield.
Yeah, set it to none. So I want to something that you might not be aware of. Your attacks can reverse hit on shields. So if you up tilt here, like if you go even deeper into his body and up tilt.
If I go even deeper into his body.
Yeah, like if you go to his front actually. Yeah, and then turn.
Or do you mean like?
So you'll notice you kind of like you can, depending on when you do it, you can actually hit the other side of him from here.
Oh.
So that causes him to get pulled into you. So when you're spacing on shields with up tilts and stuff, you just want to be further away. Like you actually want to be like tipping his shield with your like back airs and up tilts, because that's how you stay out of like his punishment range.
Oh, so basically, if I'm too close, it'll actually just suck him into me, and then he can reversal me like way easier.
Yeah, especially if he's leaning his shield forward.
Oh, okay, good to know. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so like, so you know how Dr. Mario's down smash is like insanely hard to punish? A lot of times or like Luigi's down smash, same thing, but sometimes it's like they get sucked into you almost. Like it's almost like they're down, like your shield is like pulling them into you. A lot of times when it's easy to punish, it's because they've actually, the hitbox comes out really far in front of them. So it's actually hit the back of your shield.
Oh my gosh.
And it's pulled them, yeah. So to prevent that from happening, it's just attack placement. So if you like are back, if you're pressuring Falco, being here is a good spot.
Okay, so there's just no risk of me like accidentally sucking him in, basically.
Yeah, and like you can be a little bit closer. Like obviously you'll get a hang of it. Like you'll get the hang of it as you play around with it. But I really think that the spatial pressure is like something that goes a long way versus the fast fallers in general. And it opens up, like what it does is it trains them to think that they can't attack out of shield. And once you have spacies that have to like figure out their way out of shield the old-fashioned way without just playing like out of shield RP like rock paper scissors, yeah. Like it's so much more difficult for them to like get a foothold in neutral, because yeah, they can't just like they can't play reversal roulette with you. I think in figuring out how you get into this into the positions where you can do that using your full hop, your empty hop, like your empty full hop, your double jump, your fast fall timings, using the top platform effectively, all of that will go a long way for making you more deadly against Falco, like versus this character in general.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like
this is a lot.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot, but it's a lot of answers to things that I, both the things that I like knew I needed answers to, and things that I'm realizing that like, I think there are a lot of situations where I've accidentally tried to hit Falco's shield way too close, and then he gets sucked into me, and I'm like, how did he reverse me like that?
Yeah, he was probably just holding forward and you up tilted or something.
Yeah. Do people use that to their advantage? Just like hold shield in front purposefully to try and like...
mid tiers use that relentlessly. Like anyone who has to so any character who has like a crappy out of shield, like who has a crappy shield grab, I guarantee you there like lots of the players who play those characters are doing that. Because what it does is it also ASDIs their shield into the opponent towards them so that they're closer to them, and then it also has the chance of getting the shield reverse hit, which pulls them forward even more. So like it also kind of primes you for wave dash out of shield forward because you already have the forward input ready to go. So I guarantee you, like Peach players, Ganon players, Pikachu's, I assure you there's at least a significant proportion of their player base, or at least a non-insignificant proportion of at least some of those characters that do this. Absolutely.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. I had no idea this concept existed, but
Yeah, honestly, like, the rules of the game, they're handy. Like, who'd have thunk?
Knowing that is step one.
Yeah. So, before our next meetup, can I count on you to have figured out some ways to how to navigate into? Actually, let's go to Battlefield real quick. Versus Falco's fine, perfect. So let's talk about like how we get into that pressure position, because the way I view it is, we all know that Falco's not terribly good against people that are like on side platforms in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think that like getting onto the one that's in front of him, especially if he's committing to lasers, and then like putting our back to him for shield drop, this makes like for shield drop back airs and just back airs in general, or dash dance back airs, like that makes a ton of sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, so how are some ways that we can get ourselves there? Like,
so definitely just wave landing off top.
Okay, you wave landing off the top. What if we like fast fell into laser and then blocked?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
So go to the like jump. So full hop and double jumps to get some height above the side platform, and then I want you to fast fall with laser and then hold shield.
Fast fall with laser. Okay. Oh, whoops.
So we're doing the laser after we fast fall. We don't care if it comes out or not. We don't care if it comes out or not. And then we're holding block.
Yeah.
So you'll notice we don't wave land.
Yeah.
So which means that what's the opening to punish us? Is it 4 frames? Versus wave landing, which is versus wave landing's 10.
I see. So if I just come down, what's the reason behind the laser, by the way?
So we don't fall through the platform.
Okay. Whoops.
Like you could also just like hold hold analog shield and then like hard to shield on landing. That also works.
I see.
Like you don't have to do the laser. You could just but you could do it like that. But if you don't want to do the laser, what you can also do is just like fast fall and then hold down lightly on your shield, I think.
Oh, whoops.
Like just flick down. Yeah. So like using your like analog shield to break your fall, so then you can enter shield immediately. Yeah.
I had no idea you could do this.
Yeah, so like it gives you a way to board the platform and enter shield with like more safely, and like give him a smaller opening. And the thing is, like light, especially if you land near the edge, light shielding isn't necessarily bad either, because then you just get shield pushed off and then can like back air or whatever anyway.
Yes.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
So I would say that like figuring out ways that you can like board the platforms more safely, entering in and out of shield. And how that works, because like those kinds of movements, like that looks so clean, what you just did, for like as a way to like move around him. And I think the idea here is that this pairs well because we can use the top platform as a way to move across into this position. It also pairs well with how you like to play the other side, the opposite side platform, because every time that you jump forward or dash jump forward to like go onto the top platform, it's suddenly like now a bait because you could just move back into your original position.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you could just jump forward and then you could jump forward and then double jump waveland back to like return to your original position.
Yeah.
You could even use your full hop. You could even use your short hop to make it like to make the retreat motion easier. See what I mean? Like all of a sudden, like it's not clear what you're doing in either outcome. And heck, you could even just use that short hop as a way to attack off the platform if they come forward into center stage. Like you could just dash short hop aerial forward. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if they notice that you're doing that and try to take center stage as a backup plan, you can just attack them.
I just hit them out of it, yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Like you have so many more options. Like by knowing how you can use the top platform as a like pivot, to like go to return to your platform or to like go on board his, yeah, you just expand your options like significantly. You have way more stuff you can do. Cool, huh?
Yeah. just having more options kind of like opens up my brain.
Yeah, the last thing I would say, I don't think this comes up too much versus Falco specifically, but something Cody's actually really good at, and I think that you will enjoy. I'm gonna stop watching and I share it on my screen again. But this is just a kind of a cool one. This one I don't expect you to be able to apply but this one's just too sick for me to like leave on the table. So
I'm always down to have aspirational goals.
Honestly, this is the type of thing where like if you are not able to apply it, it will not harm you in the slightest, but it's just so sick. So lasers in the Fox Ditto. Or like lasers versus others, like Fox lasers versus other species. Like, I know it sounds crazy, and it is a little bit, but let's watch how Cody gets his first opening on Pokemon Stadium. So behold the beauty and majesty. Did you see what happened?
He dropped down lasered.
And then what did Moki do?
He shined it.
Yeah, so then Cody got a free up air. Because
because he got stuck in his shine.
Yeah, and we even see Cody like throw around lasers like that on this last stock of Collision. Like, I think it's on this. It's over here.
I've never once thought about how like you can oh my gosh.
See, like he's shooting them because he knows that Moki, when he shields, he likes to like exit shield by like he's like firing lasers because he knows when Moki's in these scrambles, he likes to use shine a lot. So like if he gets him caught with one, he like automatically wins the game, and if he doesn't, he's caught. All he's done is laser.
I've never once thought about how that might be the reason behind the intent behind the laser.
Well, yeah, because if Moki blocks them or shines them, then if he blocks them, they still do shield stun, even if they don't do hit stun. So he's still plus, and if he hits the shine, then he automatically wins the game.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
And it cost him exactly like an empty jump, an empty fast fall jump, to like to look for that.
Okay, that's a fun thing I want to try at some point.
Yeah, no, like I brought this up because it's so cool, but also like while we're learning all these other things about lasers and such, this might be a fun thing for you to experiment with. Can I count on you to give this one a whirl?
Oh, definitely. That's one I want to try really bad.
All right, sick. I'm gonna let you go. But how did you feel this? I know that this is a little bit of a change of pace from what we normally do, but how did you feel this one went?
I really liked it. I feel like we talked about a lot of my like problem areas in any case, so like I want to try and put them to practice now, that I can like sit down and kind of digest. So I guess I'll let you know how it felt after some time.
Yeah, after like a week or so.
Yeah, exactly. But I enjoyed it in any case.
Amazing. That's what I like to hear. And if you have any problems or notice anything that's like not sticking, let me, again, I'm here to help. Hit me up. And with that, I'll let you go. But this was a pleasure for me too. It's always fun when I get to like, I personally live for the moments where I get to show off like my deep knowledge of this game's secrets. So this was really rewarding for me too. Take care, Harsha, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye for now.
See you.